Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like, those of you who are standing up there, there are seats down here if you would like to come and sit down before the academic procession comes in. If you did that right now, you could please sit in these seats behind the graduates if you like. Our academic procession will be here at any moment, but please feel free to come down. But do it right now if you'd like to, before they come in. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the academic procession.
Please remain standing. My name is Sarah Morgan Sylvester, and I am honored to be the Chancellor of the University of British Columbia. Please join us in the singing of O Canada, led by our University Marshal, Nancy Hermiston, Director of the Opera and Voice Program at the UBC School of Music. Thank you, Nancy. We pause for a moment to give thanks, spiritual and temporal, for the blessings we share in this wonderful world, this great country, this blessed province, this splendid university. And we respectfully acknowledge the traditions and customs of the Okanagan Nation and its people in whose traditional territories we are gathered today. We give thanks for these proud students, their families, and friends on this most happy occasion. Please be seated. Well, a warm welcome to you all, to our 2012 graduates, to your parents, family, and friends who are joining you here today in this celebration of your achievement. What a wonderful and long-awaited day. Congratulations. In the years leading up to this great moment, you've been exposed to fabulous professors, to the satisfaction of solving challenging problems, and to the beauty of the UBC Okanagan campus. But quite possibly, the best gift provided by your university education is each other. That's right. The person sitting right next to you or in the row behind you. Now, I'm not suggesting that you are close friends with everyone in your graduating class. A close friend is a rare and treasured gift indeed, although I do hope that you made one or two close friends during your time here at UBCO. What I am suggesting is that you need each other, as we all need each other. And we particularly need those who think differently than we do. Those who frustrate us by moving at a different pace. those who amaze us with their proficiency at something we just can't do, and those who challenge us and make us a little uncomfortable. You know who those people are because you've just spent the last number of years exploring new concepts with them. Think of famous teams or partnerships. Are they usually individuals who are identical to each other, or are they more different than alike? Think of Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in the movie The Odd Couple, or Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, who built what would become Apple Computer, or Margaret Thatcher and her self-effacing husband, Dennis. Now, I'm aware that what I'm asking you to do is fight the inertia that makes us all creatures of habit. I walked into a meeting the other day and I sat on the opposite side of the table from where I usually sit. Now, I know this isn't a big deal, but I had to make a conscious choice to do it. It became a bigger deal when the other meeting participants, to a person, remarked on my seating choice. This is a pretty common illustration of human behavior. After all, how many times have you walked into a lecture theater and sat in roughly the same place, surrounded by roughly the same group of people? Left to our natural instincts, we tend to build zones of comfort around ourselves. We gravitate towards what we know and are familiar with. We keep in touch with those who we feel are similar to us. Well, I think it's time to mix it up a little. Let me go back to Jobs and Wozniak. Like I'm sure many of you, I've recently finished reading Walter Isaacson's biography of Steve Jobs. While Jobs and Wozniak did share similar passions, such as music, practical jokes, and computers, in many ways, they were more different than alike. Steve Wozniak was chunky and stooped, and electronics whiz with an aversion to extreme ambition. He was influenced by his rocket scientist father, who in turn was a brilliant engineering graduate from Caltech. Steve Jobs was skinny, wiry, and full of energy, focused on design and user-friendliness, larger than life with driving ambition. He was influenced by his high school dropout father, who knew how to make money by fixing cars and selling them. What's unique about Jobs and Wozniak is not how different they were, but how much they acknowledged and appreciated their differences. Perhaps the benefit of working with someone different to himself shaped Jobs' later thinking, evident in his positioning of the Apple brand with the Think Different campaign, evident in his acknowledgement that different skill sets combine to produce something truly innovative, as in this Jobs quote from the Isaacson biography. It's in Apple's DNA that technology alone is not enough. We believe that it's technology married with the humanities that yields us the result that makes our hearts sing. There are many examples of this kind of marriage of differences leading to innovation, because it's exceedingly rare for a great idea to be produced by a single great mind. It took not just Thomas Edison, but 5 men, all with different skill sets and representing 4 nationalities, to produce the light bulb. The energetic and single-minded Marie Curie, who coined the term radioactivity, earned her first Nobel Prize jointly with her husband, Pierre, reportedly an idealist and dreamer. And in my own much more modest way, throughout my business career, I've come to seek out those who have different views, backgrounds, and skill sets to my own, particularly when there's an opportunity to build something important. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I volunteer as the Chancellor of UBC. It's a true gift to have an opportunity to help build an institution of global significance like UBC, surrounded by a diverse group of people. It's a gift to discover parts of me I didn't know existed through discussions with others who are different than me. But there's at least one other great reason to be Chancellor: the opportunity to confer degrees on all of today's graduating students. And it's a task I look forward to with immense pleasure. So let me end my comments by offering you my warmest and most sincere congratulations on your achievement. Fill your life with different people and stay connected, not just with your friends, but to those you have admired for their differences. Build something unique together, something that, as Steve Jobs would say, makes your heart sing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor. Good afternoon. I'm Stephen Toop, and I have the honor to serve as President and Vice Chancellor of the University of British Columbia. Madam Chancellor, distinguished colleagues, honored guests, members of the UBC graduating class of 2012, congratulations. What's the point of a university education? No doubt a few of you are asking that question as you sit today here at graduation, poised on the cusp of a new life, a life full of promise, but also with the inevitable uncertainty that marks all transitions. Recently, I was privileged to hear an address by the great Mexican essayist and novelist Carlos Fuentes. Sadly, he died only a few days after I heard him speak. He was reflecting upon the role of universities, and I think he said something profound. He argued that the university is a place, quotes, where people learn to be freer. Now, some of that freedom is physical and emotional. In university, most of us move quickly on that continuum of learning who we are. We may live on our own for the first time, away from our families. We, even if living at home, are likely to develop a stronger sense of independence, of freedom. Our parents don't have the same influence that they had in our day-to-day lives as children. Now, before you parents get angry with me, know that I share your pain. My eldest daughter is studying in Europe. Her freedom is a constant challenge to my need to protect and connect. But of course, Fuentes was talking about something bigger than physical freedom, something additional to emotional freedom. When he speaks of a university as a place where people learn to be freer, he means, I think, freer intellectually, even spiritually. I hope that your time at the University of British Columbia has opened up new worlds of ideas for you. I hope that your teachers and classmates have challenged you so profoundly that some of your deepest assumptions have been rocked. I hope that you've been introduced to worldviews and ways of thinking that have caused you to question your fixed ideas. In short, I hope that you're freer today than when you arrived here. freer of prejudice, freer of settled points of view that prevent you from seeing other ways of thinking, freer of assumptions that cloud analysis and block emotions. How does that happen? How does education help make you freer? Well, oddly, I think that it's in large measure through intellectual discipline and a recognition of boundaries that our freedom is built. In the last few months, a rather interesting, if seemingly arcane, debate has opened up on the pages of some leading magazines and in the blogosphere over the utility of brainstorming. Now, at first blush, brainstorming would seem to rely on unfettered creativity, on unshaped thinking. Indeed, at its inception in the 1940s, brainstorming was described by the person who coined the term, Alex Osborne, an advertising executive, as a creative process that requires the free flow of ideas in a group without any criticism or negative feedback. Osborne suggested, quotes, "Creativity is so delicate a flower that praise tends to make it bloom while discouragement often nips it in the bud," end quotes. Well, it turns out that some pretty compelling research does not support Osborne's hypothesis. Professor Keith Sawyer, a psychologist at the University of Washington, concludes, quotes, "Decades of research has consistently shown that brainstorming groups think of far fewer ideas than the same number of people who work alone and later pool their ideas." Oh no. Does that mean that all those group projects in high school and here at university were a waste of time? That we humans are intellectual isolates that don't need to work together? Well, happily it does not. In a recent article in the New Yorker magazine, the young and very cool science writer Jonah Lehrer, you should check out his YouTube presence, reviews fascinating research that shows convincingly that the very best way to produce ideas is not solitary confinement, but nor is it free association, brainstorming, in a group. In the words of Professor Charlene Nemeth of Berkeley, quotes, "Our findings show that debate and criticism do not inhibit ideas, but rather stimulate them relative to every other condition," end quote. An increasingly powerful body of research reveals that the notion of the creative superhero, the lonely artist, is largely a myth. Creativity is rooted in social interaction. Philosopher Auguste Comte opined that, quotes, "The most profound thinker will never forget that all men must be regarded as coadjutors in discovering truth," end quote. Well, we may or may not believe that there is a truth out there to discover, but at the very least, we're more likely to approach truth in settings where our ideas are challenged, where our assumptions are tested, where there is a challenge in discourse. We're actually freer when our thoughts are disciplined in discourse with our teachers and peers. Life is full of surprises, good and bad, and we will never have all the answers. You certainly don't have all the answers today just because you're graduating from a great university. As Fuentes reminds us, education contains the questions that are still to come. That's the point of a university education. Good luck to each and every one of you, and again, congratulations. I'm now pleased to call upon Dr. Doug Oram, Deputy Vice Chancellor and Principal of the Okanagan campus, to make remarks and to introduce the other speakers. Dr. Oram.
Madam Chancellor, President Toup, and most of all, graduands, their family and friends. First, let me join the ranks of those congratulating you on this important day. In some ways, I'm sure that the last 4 or 5 years have flown by. And yet in another, it must seem a very long time since you suffered the anxiety of being a first-year student arriving on campus, not knowing where you're going and not knowing whether you could handle university. You got past those jitters, you resisted the temptations of going to a party when you should be working on an assignment, most of the time, and you survived. Now the assignments are complete, now the exams are over, and today you become UBC degree holders. I'm also conscious that in some ways, you've grown personally through the university years parallel to the growth of this campus. When you arrived, many of the state-of-the-art buildings that shape our campus today were just drawings or perhaps holes in the ground. As we expanded, there was a degree of chaos, construction, fences, and makeshift arrangements. There were many years where we're putting the paint on a new residence as the students were about to drive up in the beginning of September. We got the paint on, you got into residence, and you got through your program. You've survived those changes as we survived our growth. Now you've arrived here for a well-deserved celebration of your accomplishments. Today is a milestone you will never forget. Here you are taking part in a ceremony infused with traditions that go back hundreds of years. The robes, the titles, the admission into the rights and privileges can be traced back to the early modern or medieval era. The gowns we are wearing reflect a time when all members of a university, students and faculty, were connected to religious orders. There's another reason why you'll never forget today. This is very much a personal event. It is a landmark in your lives. You are moving from UBC students to UBC alumni and on to the next step. So as you do this, allow yourselves to be a little sentimental, even a little corny. Take a look at this campus that was your home and what it has become. Take a look at yourselves and all you've accomplished and be proud. And I'm going to remind you of something that I said when you came to create in the same place 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm sure you all remember my speech vividly. I said, get engaged, that your university life will be much more meaningful if you get involved. Now that you're graduating, I will say the same thing. Stay engaged. Stay engaged with UBC. Our university has a tremendous alumni association. More and more of those alumni are now from UBCO. There are all sorts of ways in which you can remain part of UBC. Do so. You'll find the networking, the social contacts, and just the involvement in your university very rewarding and very enjoyable. Now, for many of you, as the President said, maybe most of you, the transition from student to graduate combines a very personal sense of celebration with a tinge of anxiety. I can still actually remember the same feeling many decades ago when I graduated with my first degree, that feeling of, this is great, and uh-oh, what next? That's natural. A familiar pattern is ending, and new ones have yet to be formed. Social groups are changing, and the future is at best unclear, and maybe a complete fog. But be assured, you were nervous when you came to university, you probably doubted your ability to get through some of those assignments, and yet you succeeded. That's why you're here today. You have the education, you have the ability. Whether you're going on to graduate school or beginning a career, remember 2 things. First, remember your success here and have confidence. And secondly, use your talents and your education to make a difference as well as a career. Thank you. And I'm pleased at this time to call upon Bailey Paul, member of the graduating class, to make remarks and introduce the gifts to the university. Bailey.
Madam Chancellor, honored guests, and fellow graduates. My goal is to speak on behalf of the entire graduating class in thanking those who have helped to get us here today, and also to try and bring a sense of closure to this chapter in our lives. I have to start by saying thank you to our families and close friends for their support. Thank you for finding the balance between the space and independence, as well as the reassurance and encouragement we needed throughout our time in university. I cannot express enough gratitude to the professors of this faculty Your shared experience and expertise is only the start. It's the above and beyond time and effort you've given to us that is so appreciative. In this faculty, no student feels like a number. Professors know our names, recognize when we've missed a class, and have been available at our convenience for extra support. You serve as extraordinary role models and inspire us to take initiative and set forth to accomplish our own goals. As well, thank you to the Faculty of Health and Social Development and the University of British Columbia as a whole. It's been evident through the last 4 years that the health and exercise sciences, nursing, and social work are rightfully prioritized. The status and importance these schools are given is felt positively by us as students and leaves us feeling proud of our choice to attend this university. The social workers here can attest to the amount of time we've spent studying communities. Defined in one of our texts, a community is based on relationships and consists of a number of people with something in common that connects them in some way and that distinguishes them from others. Our class and UBC is its own community. There's a special connection, a bond between us as classmates, between students and teachers, and between students and this university. As students, we've fought the same battles, whether it was an all-nighter or a plea for an extension. We've shared everything from advice, support, references, notes, and textbooks. And most importantly, we've pursued careers that will help others, hopefully bringing value and fulfillment to our own lives. Our personal support networks, our professors, and the faculty have been absolutely invaluable. But personally, I have the most gratitude for my classmates and fellow students. I've learned the most from class discussions and shared experiences. The non-judgmental and accepting atmosphere of all our classes has allowed for often vulnerable and therefore valuable learning. With a legacy gift symbolic of lifelong ties, the class of 2012 has placed a commemorative stone tablet in the main courtyard walkway. Year after year, new tablets will be placed as a lasting tribute to each and every proud alumni who once worked and played here. As excited and proud we are to have graduated and to be at this ceremony now, there are also a million insecurities that surface at this time. When you're looking for a new job, are in an interview, or are starting at a new position, know that you have the foundation to be successful in whatever career you choose. You have the skills, determination, and character to make a difference in other people's lives, in our communities, and perhaps even in the world. Take what you've learned here and continue to build on it. Continue to grow in your profession and as individuals. Once again, thank you, and I wish all of you the best of luck in your careers and in your lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Bailey. And we didn't even coordinate those remarks, but we ended up with the same comment at the end. Thank you. Will the candidates for degrees please rise? Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting the candidates for degrees who have successfully completed their studies and fulfilled the conditions that the university has set for them. The Okanagan Senate of this university recommends them to you for the degrees that will be announced by a representative of the faculties. As each degree is officially conferred, the Dean of the Faculty, and in the case of graduate students, the Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, will congratulate the students. Myrtle Miller and Merritt Main, members of the alumni community, present each student with an alumni gift. Candidates, please be seated.
So you only have one, and then the next reader comes up.
Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you a candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies, Jonathan David Smurl.
Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for degree, Master of Science in Nursing, Nicole DeBosch-Camper. Sheila Farrell. Andrea Lazzarato. Donna Mendel. Natalie Murdoch. Karen Lee Strupnikoff. Laura Struick. Charlene Strumpel. And Lorraine Topp. Crystal White. And Kaylee Christina York.
Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Social Work. Elena Doreen Angus. Shelley M. Fritzen. Renee Francis Genie. Renee Hatu. Tara Sabrina Clausen. Catherine M. Lewell. Elaine M. McGilvery. Faith Lane Reimer. Megan Nancy Rich. David Ryder. Sarah Malise Stevens. Olivia Drusilla Sullivan. Shannon Taylor. Shannon Corey Thomas. Sonora Venables Johnson.
Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Health Studies. Justin H. Phillips. Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Human Kinetics. Lauren Colin Abney. Marzi Abulfazli. Seth Alexis. Marissa Danielle Anima. Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the recipient of the University of BC Medal in Human Kinetics for Head of the Graduating Class, Matt Baumaster. Mark Bechtel. Chelsea Bissett. Emily Ann Britton. Judah Campbell. Stephanie Kathleen Cervenko. Jonathan Edmund Weir Chapman. Alyssa Danielle Christie. Christina Robine Copley. Daniel Richard Cunningham. Jordan Mackenzie Curry. Janine Dyer. Talis Dougal. Megan Freeburn. Ashley Frick. Jillian Gagnon. Logan Garland. Daniela Giustra. Ayla Graham. David Harrett. Trent Jensen. Nicole Cairn. Michelle Elizabeth Laviolette. Kyla Laurie. Casey LeBaron. Megan Maduk. Kate Erin McEwen. Ashley Dawn McMahon. Avinder Moore. Kristen Nault. Nolana Neubauer. Sherry Lynn Pope. Sarah Saidi. Lars Sitzinger. Akash Sidhu. Kristen Ann Slater. Cassandra Smith. Kayla Sparrow. Chris Spencer. Lauren Stahl. Julia Alexandra Stanishevsky. Megan Stephen. Whitney Ann Louise Stevens. Catherine Strick. Hazel Sue Taranga. Brendan Tostenson. Jocelyn Eva Underhill. Renee Webb Pelchat. Amy Elizabeth Wright. Sarah Elizabeth Zaitstoff. Sean Blake. Tanis Burnett. Samantha Robin Edwards. Daniela Gurr. Amy Charlotte Johnson. Sabina Janet Victoria Lee. Jacob Lowen. Nakitha Mascarinhas. Patrick McAnoff. Peter Tucker. Sorry, Jesse Weber. Brian Kelly Bergfinson. Talon Conrad Bush. And David Lease. Yeah, or nursing, I believe.
Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Ellen Kathleen Albright. Gina Babaji. Marlise Nicole Maranow. Keisha Marie Barber. Alana Barber. Kimberly Ann Barlow. Stephanie Elizabeth Barlow. Tony Christina Bartman. Jackie Benson. And I would like to announce with the winner of the University of BC Medal in Nursing, Courtney Blackwood. Melanie Ann Blunden. Cara Bonini. Jamie Brayman. Rachel Bryce. Jeffrey Chan. Ingrid Chung. Anna Chapera. Natasha Clark. Amy Christine Cresswell. Amy Dahl. Kiran Deep Dhaliwal. Danielle Dirksen. Emma Christina Driscoll. Sylvia Eddy. Sarah Gantner. Michelle Ann Gilding. Jennifer Gertz. Brianne Gordon. Emma Gould. Alana Charlotte Gross. Chelsea Hagan. Kaylee Harrywinen. Megan Hill. Pamela May Hintz. Kelty Hobenschild. Christy Ann Homas. Jutsun Shinner Hu. Shu. Emma Jade Hurry. Amanda Jensen. Stephanie Kazakowski. Brittany Ann Cardell. Esther Mee Kim. Natalie Klosterman. Naomi Kober. Caitlin Lang. Lindsay Lazzarato. Laura Lepiter. Michelle Lader. Alana Lidstone. Rachel Lowe. Travis Lowe. Melissa Maley. Sonam Mankatella. Jennifer McMillan. Justine Mushta. Martina Osman. Jasbir Kaur-Pada. Indirjit Kaur-Panu. Michelle Pills. Roseanne Parazik. Cassandra Dawn Ray. Megan Elizabeth Richardson. Elise Sarah Rieger. Darlene Gladys Robinson. Melissa Rowe. Randy Roundtree. Kimberly Rusa. Sukhman Sandhu. Brooke Ainsley Sanguin. Julia Schaefer. Leah Elizabeth Schaefer. Jennifer Rose Schertz. Brittany Sears. Alana Sheelast. Miranda Ruth Shubu. Shalyn Sigmund. Heather Skelton. Brittany Lee Skusik. Fallon Smith. Juliet Gabrielle Symington. Samantha Third. Teresa Ann Thompson. Aaron Vandenberg. Karen Lynn Wasden. Rochelle Weeb. Jana Wiringa. Amy Wild. Susan Willerth. Joel Williamson. Danae Woyden. Daphne Young.
Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Social Work. Anna Chola. Madam Chancellor, the recipient of the University of British Columbia Medal in Social Work and head of the graduating class, Bailey Paul. Rochelle Collins. Nicole Davidson. Stephanie B. Hopkins. Sabina Mustafich. Nicole R. Robbins. Chelsea Lynn Watts. Nancy Noemi Argueta. Amber Marie Buxton. Julissa Nicole Stainson Crocker. Amber Lee Erdman. Anna Holly Friesen. Catherine E. Harling. Andrew David Harrington. Carly Hooper. Sky A. Kadanek. Thomas M. Late. Catherine McLean. Nare Namkung. Jordan James Ostenbrink. Lavon Victoria Petrin. Brittany Ann Chaudra. Carlina Bonita Siwi. Brittany J. Stanway. Mark Wilson.
Thank you very much.
So here's the important bit. For those graduates who have just crossed the stage today, and for all of those who are unable to attend today's ceremony, with respect to the appropriate degrees as shown in the program, I hereby admit you. Sure, do it. Will all the graduates please rise? It has been my great pleasure to meet and congratulate each member of today's graduating class. You've each invested a great deal of determination, focus, and hard work in obtaining your degree. And now, just as you graduate, this would be a perfect time for you to turn around and show your appreciation for the support of your parents, family, and friends by giving them a big round of applause. Having crossed this stage today, you are now members of the Convocation of UBC. You are in good company. Since UBC began granting degrees in 1916, more than 285,000 men and women have crossed the stage just like this one to receive their degrees, and have gone on to build our community and shape our society. As alumni, your relationship with UBC is beginning anew. You can maintain your voice in the affairs of UBC through your elected members and Senate, by mentoring today's students, or by participating in UBC's many volunteer opportunities both here and abroad. And as lifelong learners, you're always welcome to come back and take a course or two. I encourage you to stay involved and be part of the future of this great institution. You have so much to offer UBC, as it still has much to offer you. To M.S., please be seated.
Before we conclude the ceremony, I want to take just a moment to acknowledge what is, for us at UBC, and especially for our Okanagan campus, a bittersweet occasion. The Deputy Vice Chancellor and Principal of UBCO, Doug Oram, will be retiring at the end of this month. And so this is his very last convocation. And I want to take this time to say a very, very warm thank you on behalf of all of us at UBC for a very distinguished 6 years of service as we were building this campus. As you all know, it's been complicated. There have been lots of challenges. That they've been overcome and that you've overcome them is due in many, many respects to the tireless efforts of Doug Oram. Please join me in thanking him. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings our ceremony to a close. I hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I, and that all of you will be able to join us for refreshments, which will be served immediately after the ceremony in the courtyard. Guests are requested to remain in their places until the academic processions have left the building. Thank you all for joining us, and I'm sure you're going to want one last chance to congratulate the 2012 graduates of UBC.